Welcome to another episode of 50 Shades of Shilamita with your hostess, Shilamita. I'm super excited to be here with you for a brand new month, which means that we have all new guests, all new topics, and all the things. My shirt says peace, love, and all the things. So that's what I'm sending out to you in the world right now. I wanted to talk today about the hustle being real because today is the first of the month, and yesterday I had the opportunity to either hustle or just be. And so for those of you that are new to my world, I was a licensed acupuncturist for 10 plus years. I closed my practice in November of 2021. I became a best-selling author in 2017. So I always had like one foot out the door. And I retired when I did because of the circumstances that forced me almost into doing it. But I had wanted to retire long before 2021, right? In 2017, when I became an author, I was like, okay, this is my first step towards going towards this new life. But I didn't really even know what the new life was. I just know that when I first started manifesting all of those years ago, I was a very overweight single mom living on food stamps. And all that I knew was that my life was supposed to be more than it was. I had already been an entrepreneur since I was 21 years old. I had already owned several businesses. So I knew that I was meant for success. I knew that I was supposed to be successful. I knew that I was supposed to be living more, but I just didn't know what more was because there was no evidence in my life to show me more. I didn't really have friends that had more. If they had more, it was like in a showy way. It wasn't even in a way that I wanted to be a part of it. I didn't really know and understand that everybody had access to wealth and desire and luxury and all of the things, right? It was a really big mind game for me to really switch things up. And so when I decided to close my acupuncture practice, I was going to go all in on my online business, which is being an author, a speaker, selling my book, being on tour, all of the things. And so one of my biggest fears in 2017 when I hired my first coach was that I was going to become so big so fast that I was going to miss out on my children's life, which is part of my mommy issues growing up, is that my mom always worked two jobs and I felt that she really wasn't there for me. Now, as an adult, looking back in hindsight, I understood that what she was doing for me, she was doing for us, she was doing for our family. But in the time when you're a little kid, you don't really understand that, right? And so it was really important for me to not repeat that for my children. But I was also struggling with massive postpartum depression. So I didn't even really want to be there with my children. So it was a really big struggle for me where I was. And the only thing that I knew going into being an acupuncturist was that I wanted to help people, but I wanted to help the masses. And so in my acupuncture practice, I did very well, but I was seeing one person at a time, or at my max, I was seeing 4 people in an hour, but that was it. And for me, that was a very big limit. Like I wanted to speak to the masses. I just know and understand at this point that when I tell a story or I have conviction over something, that I'm able to activate something inside of people that helps them to go out and to receive the things that they desire, or to shift their lives into something different. And so we have this opportunity in life that we get to choose what we want to do, or we get to hustle. And so I'm really used to the hustle. And so when I closed my acupuncture business, I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? My online business had already had a 6-figure year, which I was very proud of. But that 6-figure year consisted of traveling retreats, which we had decided as a family wasn't the right time for me to be doing that. And so I didn't really know what my next move was. And suddenly, and I say that laughingly, and I skipped a beat in saying it because nothing just happens suddenly, right? Everything happens for a reason. And so a friend of mine had reached out to me and she wanted to introduce me to a toxin-free company that happened to have a multi-level marketing structure. And so just just like others, like I've done this game before, I've been in MLMs before. And so I didn't really want to give her the time of day. And she was like, no, you don't understand. Like these products are amazing. They're everything that you stand for. They're made in America. Like you're going to love this. Right? And so she turned me on and introduced me to Pure Haven, which by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Pure Haven. I absolutely love and adore the company. I love what they stand for. I love their products. I love all of the things. But what I didn't love was I didn't love that I went from one hustle directly into another hustle. Now, for me, it was overnight success, which is, defying the impossible, which is part of what I do. I immediately had people who wanted to be a part of something. And I had built that like, no trust factor in the holistic wellness space for a really long time. So it was kind of mind-blowingly easy for me how quickly I had built a team, earned a luxury vacation, earned another luxury trip, ranked. All of a sudden, I was being asked to speak on all different kinds of events and online stuff that was happening. And so it was feeding my ego and it was giving me what I need. I felt very seen, very validated, and it was eating up my time. But the thing is that I didn't stop being an acupuncturist because I wanted to go enter into a new hustle. I stopped being an acupuncturist because I was ready to speak to the masses. And while Pure Haven gave me the opportunity to do that by putting me on stages and all of the things, I was now speaking to the masses about toxin-free living, which is great. I love talking about toxic-free living and holistic living and all things natural. But that's not where the magic lies for me. There is this spiritual talk that I need to get across to the masses to activate people. And while for some people it happens through toxic-free living, it doesn't for all the people. And so being able to recognize that was really huge for me, and being able to walk away from something that was so big. And when I say walk away, I'm not completely gone. I still am a rep with Pure Haven. I still have my link that is active. If you are listening or watching and you want to go check it out, you can go to www.purehaven, purehaven.com/Shilamida, SHILAMIDA. I'll be sure to put those in the show notes for you too, so you can link right to it. But on the 30th or the 31st of the month in network marketing, unless it's February, it is a day of pure hustle. And last year I loved it because it gave me purpose, right? And in closing my acupuncture practice, I went through a grieving process of not knowing what my purpose was. Even though I've been manifesting my purpose for the last 15 years, I still am kind of in this like limbo place of being a little lost. Like, where does my magic lie? How do I reach the most amount of people at one time? And so Pure Haven was great because it ate up some time for me. And then the reality set in that I went from one hustle straight into another hustle. And I didn't like that feeling. I started becoming bitter. And for those of you that know anything about human design, I am a projector in human design, and my not self theme is bitterness. And so when I realized that I was starting to get bitter, that I wasn't happy, that things were not feeling right anymore, it took like a lot to recognize the fact that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing on a daily basis. And here I had built something, and let's face it, in anything you do, if you do the build and you don't stick it out, it's not going to last. And so I'm very grateful because mine has somewhat lasted. I had an incredible month in April. And so yesterday I had a choice. I had a choice if I wanted to push to get the extra sales to throw me over the hump of a rank that would have paid me more money, or I could have enjoyed a lazy, rainy Sunday with my family and organized my house and did the things that I wanted to do, right? Like not even needed to do, but the things that I wanted to do. I mean, I remember working and I would like want to clean out my garage, and it would literally take me months to be able to even step foot into the garage to have the time time to do that. And so what I'm experimenting with now is time. Before COVID, there was not enough time for anything. It was like, I needed it and I needed it now. I needed to be successful. I needed to be yesterday. I needed to be a millionaire and it needed to happen tomorrow, right? It just seemed like I was running out of time. And interestingly enough, before I went to go record this, somebody had posted on Facebook something about the secret to life is that there is not enough time. And I said, no, the secret to life is thinking that there is not enough time, because there's always enough time. And really experimenting with this time and space right now is so new for me, because I'm so used to being in the hustle and I'm so used to every minute of every day being consumed by something. And let's face it, last month, April, was the most incredible month for me. I was in Aruba, I was in Miami, I was in Nashville. It was a total hustle, but it was a total hustle of fun. That's what I desire to do. I desire to be on an airplane, traveling the world, putting myself in front of a camera, like showing up for me. And so if you're in a hustle and you're not even showing up for yourself, I can imagine that you are living through a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, right? Because here you are in the hustle life and you're not even hustling for yourself. You're hustling for somebody else to be on an airplane living this lavish lifestyle that maybe you desire to live, but you're not, because you don't have enough time. And so how many people have said to me, oh, I want to start a business, but I don't have enough time. I want to travel the world, but I don't have enough time. I want to lose the weight, but I don't have enough time. I want to look as good as you look, but I don't have time to go to the gym, right? Like, these are the things that I hear all the time. And actually, one of my very first master classes that I taught in the masterclass pass on my website is called Time Warp, because it's all, we get time warped. We get into this thinking that there's not enough time. And so we try to accomplish things and get things done, and we half-ass them, and then we're not even happy in the end. And so I invite you to go check out my website, www.shilamida.com. It's SHILAMIDA. You can go check out the masterclass pass. There's, or 11, maybe 13. I don't even remember, but there was one for each month. And I think that one month we might've done two. So you can go purchase them individually, or you can buy the whole pass, which I highly suggest. You will have over 12 hours of amazing content and just things that will really expand you. And that's what this whole month is about on the show, is really getting into the expansion and the knowing that what if you had all the time in the world? What would you be doing right now? If you could wake up on this Monday morning knowing that everything that you've ever desired is on its way to you, and you don't have to go do what you don't want to do, what would you actually be doing today? And I want you to really sit with those feelings. I want you to sit with the feeling of desire. Like, nobody told me to go join a network marketing company last year. In fact, my husband actually asked me to quit several times during the year, because there's a certain level right now of me being Mrs. Friedman. For those of you new to my world, I just got married on 11/11/22 after being with my partner for almost 12 years. We were together 11 years when we got married, and we were together 12 years last week. You could go back and binge the shows. One of the shows is called Love at First Touch, and it tells a little bit of our love story that was completely manifested, just like every aspect of my life has been manifested. And, in my relationship with Ben, it's always been, hey, by the way, I'm going to be famous one day. And, when we first met, I was on food stamps. I was overweight. Like, I was nowhere near the person that I am today, but he saw it and he believed it, and he loved the confidence that I showed up with. And then in 2017, when the success really started to pop off, it was hard for us, and it was hard for our relationship, and it was hard for our masculine and feminine energies. They got a little mishmashed along the way. And so we've finally found like a really good flow and a good energetic match. And part of that has been because I have retired. And even though I went straight into a second hustle, the hustle was different because I was always home. So instead of being out and hustling in the world, which is problematic for me being away from our family, I was still away from my family, but at least I was in the home. So I know a lot of you can relate to that when you're always on your phone and you're not really present because you're not really present, right? And so I'm really trying to shift that because, like I said in the beginning, some of my mommy issues growing up was that my mommy was not there. And even though I know that she was doing what she needed to do for me, I don't want that same story with my children. And it's funny because my children are having a really hard time with me being home all the time because they're used to the hustle. They're used to all of it. So it's new for everybody. Change is not easy for anybody. And it just needs to be done because I am on a mission of living out my most authentic, amazing, incredible life. And knowing that I am a projector means that I'm not supposed to hustle. And the luxury and all the things and desires and love and gratitude and abundance, it's all coming my way. I mean, I already possess it, but more is on its way because I know what I've put out into the universe. So I thank you so much for joining me today. I love hearing your thoughts on the show and the comments. Please comment here, whether you're listening on your favorite podcast station or you're watching on my YouTube channel. Just know, however you are consuming the show, you do have the opposite. If you like to listen, it is available on every podcast station. If you love to watch, you can watch it on YouTube. You can also come find me on Instagram. I hang out at 50 Shades of Shilamita. I story my life and all the behind the scenes and the things. I am on Facebook and I'm also on Pinterest. I mentioned my website to you, www.shilamida.com. It's SHILAMIDA. You can go check out all of my books, my past masterclasses, meditations, and all the things that'll help you to expand your life. Definitely check back here every single Friday. I have a new guest on the show. You're going to love the women I'm bringing onto the show this month. I love you. I thank you. Thanks for being on this journey with me. And I will see you soon. Bye.